We have let too much slide. That's all I can say. We've let too much slide. And that brings us to what's going on right now. Aiden made some pretty nasty, pretty dramatic, drastic comments about Doechii. You know, I just never understood why people hated her so much until this year, because I feel like it's been a fatigue of you having to make room for a certain look, for a certain type of artists, and to see them kind of forced down your throat. Pause. It's been annoying this to some people, so I feel like they're feeling a lot of artificial love, and as a like triggered response, like a trauma response to it, it's like they're giving a super overcompensation of hate towards her after feeling like she's getting all this love and praise for no reason. Which
On that bitch. Don't get me started on that industry plant. Don't get me started. You guys can say shit whatever you want about me, but one thing about me is I'm not an industry plant. I've been streaming for like a long time now. Fuck Doechii. The umbrella clip pissed me off. What an
all of this over the umbrella clip.
unintelligent piece of shit she is, bro. She deserve, bro. I'm not joking, bro. Stop listening to her music. Cardi and Abel, why would you give her a feature on a remix? You shouldn't have cleared it. She's just the worst. She's a piece of shit. She stole someone like that I used to know. She makes no good music. She's horrible.
You see how he just went from one thing to the next that didn't really have anything to do with each other. I find it hilarious that he is looking to Cardi as like some sort of authoritative figure or some sort of like validation. Like, oh, Cardi, why would you let her on when she's this kind of person? But Cardi scammed you out of his stream and walked off, and you had nothing to say about it. You know, none of this passion was there for when Cardi scammed you. Was there for when 21 pulled the wool over your eyes with the card game. I'm not saying that he enjoyed it or that he loved it or he like praised it or anything like that, but to just be this dramatic over an umbrella clip, which mind you, I didn't like that clip either. I feel like it did give off entitled vibes. It did give off a very, you know, bad look for her. And I do think that she probably isn't the nicest person behind the scenes, like, you know, just if we're going off of that clip. But I don't think it's enough to make somebody just jump into this kind of to hate this type of hate rant. And I can't help but, you know, but acknowledge the fact that so many other artists have done so much worse and you had no care in the world for it. I didn't even get into the Kanye stuff because I feel like everybody else is already gonna talk about that part. Like, I hope that we talk about also the fact that he just said that she stole somebody that I used to know. Like that's not a huge thing in hip hop, but just, you know, sampling and interpolations. Like, yeah, he didn't say that when Drake sampled Aaron Hall, "I Miss You." I don't think so. So he's not a hip hop entity. Aiden Ross, I'm someone who used to watch Aiden, like a lot of his like clips and like his moments with interviewing, quote unquote, or just having artists on his stream, and I thought they were entertaining. It was cool. It was funny. Felt like he was like he was doing something different, and you know, to this day I have respect for him and what he did in that regard. But this is why we don't need to have gatekeepers, but we need to have more of a hold, more pride in who we just give praise and authority to within a field that they have no true cultural connection to. They have no true input on. They have no true understanding of. This dude just said she stole somebody that I used to know, not knowing the term sampling, not knowing the term interpolation. A lot of these content creators just talk and don't actually listen to the music. When's the last time you ever heard him give an in-depth review, an in-depth perspective, like any kind of actual care about the craft that he claims to be so in tune with? It's just not true. What we're doing is we're giving them a space to just talk on things that they have no business talking about because of the numbers that they pull. So because he has a huge audience and because he gets clipped from out of touch sources like sometimes complex, like sometimes academics, things like that, we just automatically think, okay, it's valid, when really it's not. And I don't mean to speak on all of us as a monolith, because honestly, there are true pockets of our culture that allow for this to happen. There are pockets that don't see academics as just an entertainment source, but see him as a true, actual, real journalist, like a true, actual, real hip hop historian and fan. And I don't see him as that. To me, academics, he's just a funny character that does, you know, biased shit all the time. That's just his thing to me. It's that it's when we don't establish that line where things get murky and allow shit like this to just fly.
New way for you to earn digital gift cards from Roblox.
You're probably like, damn, Aiden, like, yo, what's got that energy in you? And that's exactly what I thought as well. I was like, yo, this is you're really turned up about this. And this comes from his reaction to Doechii at the Met Gala, where she was talking to a bunch of workers that had to get her umbrellas together for her outfit to be revealed.
Yeah, this was crazy. I get you don't want it to be prematurely seen or whatever, but she was doing a lot, and a lot of assumptions can be made about how you are behind the scenes through that clip.
I did a whole video on this. I'm going to play you guys just a clip of her, what some people believe is berating the workers, and then we're going to get into the rest of it.
And then not only that, her response to it was horrible. Talking about, God forbid someone needs an umbrella, and then try to make it into it seeming like it was a joke. Like, no, nigga, you're being kind of a dick. You're being kind of a dick.
Oh no! Yes, I'm ready. Give me another. No, stop. Give me another umbrella now. Another one right there, and another one. I need another one. Another umbrella. Excuse me. Umbrella! Anybody right there? Two more umbrellas!
They said no. They said the lobby would be clear.
And do not let that
The car's not here. We're pulled over. The menu told us to wait. I don't know. Okay.
right now.
Yeah, watch the step. Watch the step. And don't let her hair get wet.
Move these umbrellas. I don't want these people seeing me. I got it. Move the umbrella. Are you blocking it? I'm right now. Is your umbrella there? Yes.
You're blocked. You're blocked.
Yes.
Yeah, she sounds very fucking aggravating. I can't lie. I couldn't work for somebody like that.
Oh. So if you want my whole analysis on that situation, it'll be in the pinned comment. I don't want to.
I do think, you know, it's very anecdotal though, and I guess a high stress situation, but I'm just saying, not a good look.
Reiterate it, but I gave Doechii credit. I was like, listen, man, high stakes, high pressure situation. Sometimes people are going to yell. It's their first time. She's dealing with a lot of stress. Everyone's dealing with a lot of stress. But Aiden Ross had a differing opinion, and he felt that, like, hey, people with 9-to-5s, people that are working regular jobs, people that are assisting you like this, it is highly disrespectful to treat them like this. And this is a take that I can get behind, because Aiden Ross is somebody that's given so many opportunities. And it's not opportunities in the sense that where like artists are saying like, yo, you know, we're putting people on, and they're just putting on other artists. Like Aiden Ross is just handing out bags to people left and right. The people that Aiden Ross hires, he overpays them to hell and back. Like a job that shouldn't get paid more than a couple $1,000s a month, Aiden Ross is 10xing that salary. He's changed so many families' lives, giving out so much money. Now granted,
All right, get off the nigga dick. Goddamn. Goddamn. Shit, we get it. The nigga's rich and he give people money. God damn, it's not what we be talking about right now. What the fuck? Oh my lord. Shout out to those things though, good deeds, but shit. This nigga is coming for somebody for no apparent reason. Why are we talking about all this other shit, bro?
I will say there is the other side of the poison where Aiden Ross has gotten who knows how many people into gambling, and that will probably ruin the rest of their bloodline. It is what it is, but that guy has always been polite to everybody. I've never seen him yell at anybody, any fans. He's always been a stand-up guy.
That's true. I never seen him do that to fans and people in, you know, his area, in his vicinity. But I have seen him, you know, wild out for like random shit like this. It's just, I don't know, it's case by case. It's weird.
Guy too, especially in any dealings that me or any of the people that I know have had with him too. So that's one thing that people cannot take away from him, and I don't want people attacking that side. But this opinion by Aiden Ross started to spread and get into hip hop, and then this, I don't know why they're addressing it, and the reason why Aiden Ross even addresses it is because his chat pushed him to it. But these clip pages start posting it like Feared Buck, etc. And then Aiden Ross gets on his alt account and says, "Cause Feared Buck and Ryan are my dogs. I got nothing but love for JulZ, but I don't F with people mistreating hardworking, regular working people. I call it out and I'm real. Don't have to hide behind a mask. I own my own platform." Kick.com. He owns that platform. "I own my own brands. I love women." I think this last part that he added in, you fell right into the trap at that point.
I love women, but not the black ones.
When you start having, when people start levying such a ridiculous accusation at you as like, "Oh, you hate this entire group of people," and then you start defending it, it's over. That's it. You're like, "No, actually I don't." You're better off saying, "Yeah, I do hate all of you, and I hate men, and I hate also a subspecies of animal, F PETA." You might as well say that. But this was in response to YesJulz, who has become so infuriating the past couple of years. And I'm
Another person that shouldn't be in the culture. Why is she a thing? I never heard of no YesJulz until Denzel Curry said her in a song when he said about some YesJulz mixed with Katy Perry shit, and then she was involved with the Kanye rollout. What is she? Niggas hate her. I don't get what she is. Is she a journalist? Is everyone just a hip hop journalist? Anybody with the white skin could just be a hip hop journalist and make a platform now because they're white in the hip hop. Is that it? Like, I don't get it. It feels like anybody with Caucasian descent could just pick up a fucking microphone, talk about a genre they don't involve themselves in, and then make a platform. Is that how it works now? Let me know. Cause
somebody that I give YesJulz credit where she deserved her credit, which is what, like 2015 to 2016. And after that, let me just read her response. I'm getting my blood's starting to boil. It's starting to simmer, actually. "How did we allow men to get this comfortable disrespecting women on such large platforms? Number one, it's his platform. He owns it. Number two, he built the whole audience, and he owns the platform where he's saying it on. That's number three as well. None of the three things that you do, by the way. And for him to call her talentless, is this rage bait? I can kind of understand this point, to be fair. Like, he's a streamer. I do think he's talented. I do think he's brilliant in terms of entertainment, curating entertainment, forecasting trends, capitalizing on trends. That's not easy. We're in an attention market, YesJulz, and you fell off the attention market. So clearly, how talented were you if you weren't able to keep your attention? You got kicked out of the whole Ye team, and you were trying to say like that Milo character was, I don't know, you were trying to get him ran out, but he got you ran out, and he's clearly still rolling with Ye for years upon years. And then she says she was literally co-signed by Lauryn Hill. His opinion means nothing. You know whose opinion means nothing? And it's the people that we don't respond to. And this is the problem. She was co-signed by Lauryn Hill. This is the problem. Like, people like YesJulz, I don't know if they're intentionally being obtuse, or they don't want to understand, or they're not trying to be open-minded. The fact is, who the hell is this chick to get co-signed by Lauryn Hill? And then she's Lauryn Hill's the first one to win a Grammy for rap album, and then it was Cardi B, and then it's Doechii. So she's the third woman to ever win it? That's what people are upset about. Well, one of the things that they can't quite grasp, and this is the problem, when you try to gaslight people and say, "Why do you think she's an industry player?" And keep in mind, this is me being somebody that likes Doechii's music. I like the Alligator album. I was a little bit iffy about the Grammy thing. When I listened to all the Grammy albums, if we're talking about the quality of her album, I think it stands to win. It stands to win. It's an understandable decision.
Personally, we should have been more upset about the nominations rather than the actual winner. Like we don't trust you. I think that's a nomination for sure. But personally, I think 2024 had stacked music, and the people that really deserved it are just never gonna be given that look that they should be. Like, the fact that Schoolboy Q wasn't even, I don't even think it was nominated, upsets me. It upsets me a lot. It truly does. Because Blue Lips was a fantastic album. I still haven't listened to Alligator Bites Never Heal though. I want to react to it, and I'm going to. But I'm just saying, I feel like to be upset about her winning is just not really. It's a skewed perspective when you don't even take into account the people that were left off. Like, why are we're not mad that she got nominated, but because she won, now it's a problem. I don't know. That's weird to me. That's weird to me.
if you have to choose between those. Now the nomination is something else. However, I will still
Yeah.
criticize the like her getting on the Timeless remix and these other moves that have been
Yeah, that shit sounded horrible. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I just heard clips, but that shit sounded horrible.
happening on social media. Listen, I've been watching hip hop for so long. I know you get an instinctive eye. You know what is fishy and what isn't fishy. And her come up is fishy, or her acceleration for sure is fishy. So the fact that she's co-signed by Lauryn Hill only assists people's point, which is why the hell does Lauryn Hill know about her? Lauryn Hill hasn't. Who else has she co-signed? And that has nothing to do with her behavior. So what he's criticizing is her behavior. So YesJulz had nothing to do or had nothing to say about her behavior with those people at the Met Gala. But now that
What he just did wasn't criticism though. That wasn't criticism. I don't like that was just straight slander. You know what I'm saying? He didn't articulate himself in a way where he was like giving the good and the bad and the why it's bad. He just straight just attacked her. Why are we I'm noticing a trend. I'm noticing a trend on who talks about certain topics in what kind of way in what kinds of ways. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm noticing trends on who talks about certain topics in certain types of ways.
he calls that, or he calls her out, she's got something to say all of a sudden. And Aiden Ross responds to her, and yeah, he's like, yo, this is the clipping culture. So they clip this out of context, it gets more engagement, and that's a double-edged sword if you want a mass audience. If you want a mass audience, you need clipping. And in order to get the most engagement from clips, they need to clip you out of context, which is going to generate a lot of hate, and you need to be able to take the hate. So for anybody that's trying to pursue this whole thing, learn where you want to sit. Do you want to be the most poppin' guy? Or do you want to just like be chill and not be the most poppin', but do your own thing? Regardless, this started spreading to other hip-hop institutional people, you could call it. Peter Rosenberg, of all people, I don't want to get disrespectful, because Peter Rosenberg has never been disrespectful with me, but he's infuriating as well. He's not infuriating. He is passive-aggressive, entitled, and just feels like he's owed viewership, which is something that...
That's a lot of these old hip-hop media figures have been... Elliot Wilson has been somebody that I've talked about in that kind of way, where like I respect where you came from, but a lot of entitlement, it's been kind of weird. I'm not trying to come at Yassine either, because I fuck with his content. I've been watching hella Yassine for like years. I'm just saying it's an interesting way of attacking the subject, but let's hear more.
Gets infuriating. And he goes on to say, when I made it to Hot 97 as a longtime DJ and true hip-hop nerd / historian, I had to fight and scrap for any respect. And I'm still hated on to this day, no matter how hard I still go for the culture. Now it's 2025 and streamers who know nothing and do nothing get away with anything. Well, Peter Rosenberg, if you or anybody else owned the radio waves, which they're owned by... the government, but if you owned the radio station and you got on there and you owned the mics and you owned everything and you got on there and said whatever you said, you could get away with it too. But you had to satisfy your boss, you had to satisfy people whose opinion you cared about. That's also something Aiden Ross doesn't care about. Peter Rosenberg wants to be liked so badly, he wants to be appreciated so badly, so that also shapes what comes out of his mouth and his opinions. And Aiden Ross doesn't care. That's simply it. And what do you mean by get away with? Like, do you want some harm to come to him? He did nothing but just say his opinion. It's not like he even knows her personally. I will say, like, it was quite harsh. But his reaction is not just he didn't listen to the Doechii Timeless remix and go off like this, which some people, they might think that. And this is also another thing where people are talking about intelligence, because we might get into this in another topic, because Fantano calls this guy stupid, which is ironic. Because, yeah, if you're going to call this guy stupid, how smart are you for not realizing that your emotions were piqued by a clip channel? Anytime your emotions get piqued by a clip, an intelligent person would say, hold on. Why am I getting pissed? What's the actual context behind this? Look up the actual context and then see if they want to address something. And if they don't want to look up the actual context and they're like, man, this is not even worth my time, then don't respond to it. That's my policy. 99.9% of the time.
That's a good policy to have. That's what I talk about that a lot, honestly, with people in real life. Like, bro, what the opinion ecosystem within social media when it comes to music is so fucking skewed, and so really with any topic, but I'm going to talk about specifically music because like it's so easy to do, and we see it so often that I just can't even like I can't even care anymore. Like that's why I just like to talk about the shit that I actually listen to from just reacting to it and then saying it right here, because a lot of people like to clip the most like out of context part of a song, react to it in a very, very negative way, and then make it seem like that's the entire catalog of that one artist. And they do that a lot with Doechii, is what I'm noticing. But if you're actually someone who has any type of, critical thinking, you're gonna look at that, realize he's doing it for engagement. They probably don't even really feel the way that they're trying to portray on the camera, but they know it's gonna get enough reactions for them to go up, and then you keep swiping and moving along about your day. But people just don't do that. There's so much disingenuous discourse around rap, and a lot of it is because of people that like to, give Aiden such a huge say within the culture. Like me personally, I don't get it. I don't see it. I fuck with him as an entertainment source, and that's about it, I respect what he did, but I feel like we can't keep giving him so much credence, like, or whoever is, because I don't think people around me is doing that personally.
We all fall for it every now and then. But like for instance, if somebody is talking about, I don't even know who's somebody, I don't even know who I wouldn't address because I don't even see their stuff. But yeah, YesJulz, another tweet and she tweet and deleted.
Oh my gosh.
People just need to start suing the ish out of these incels, starting with me actually. Almost forgot to follow up with my lawyer on that other idiot. Thanks for the reminder. This just makes you. What's also infuriating is people using words, the definitions of word, not knowing the definitions of words and completely using them incorrectly. And what are you going to sue him for? For having an opinion on the girl's music or the girl's personality? Where is the slander? This is why YesJulz attempted to do the whole family lifestyle, get married to an NFL player, have a kid, and then, I don't know, he left her, cheated on her, whatever the case may be. That fell apart. She tried to come crawling back. And then
What are we talking about right now? Who cares?
the way that she was treating the streamers, actually, even like, I think it was Sneeko and Neon and some other people, the way that she was treating them was frankly quite disgusting. Like she was somebody that would likely treat people poorly, and then she gets kicked out of that situation, and now she's just trying to claw her back. And I remember she was previously trying to talk about, like, you guys don't know how much I did for the scene. Nobody cares. This is the thing, like, when it's all said and done, nobody that wasn't there for your time and really tapped in will ever say the name YesJulz and associate it with anything positive in the music industry. That's it's sad because she has done some things, but that is the actual state of the world. And then Jeremy Hecht, who was a co-host with DJ Head, who was the spokesperson, you could say, for Kendrick Lamar.
DJ Head is such a perfect name because that nigga got a fucking dome ski. God damn. Respectfully, Jesus Christ, that's a big ass milk dud on his head, bro.
Beef in this new podcast that they put together. These podcasts they're money printers. They're the opposite of money printers. They're money pits. So somebody is just funneling money into this. Maybe they got some sponsors. The podcast doesn't really make money. It doesn't generate views, but it's institutional. And he says, I'm not going to repost that streamer's rant, but it's funny how these guys love calling women out of their name rather than stating their opinions eloquently. That, to me, is the definition of unintelligence and entitlement. This guy doesn't know what entitlement is. What is Aiden saying? Entitlement means you expect something. Or, you...
Listing your vacation rentals on Booking.com opens the door to more guests, which could lead to...
You expect to...
I think he's using the word entitlement. I think when he says that, he's basically saying, let me read it real quick. I'm not going to repost that streamer's rant, but it's funny how these guys love calling women out of their name rather than stating their opinions eloquently. That, to me, is the definition of unintelligence and entitlement. I think he's basically saying they feel like they're allowed to say these crazy things about women and state their opinions in wild ways because they feel like whatever I say deserves to be understood and already has merit. Like I'm entitled to that feeling of, oh, I can just say whatever I want and nothing nothing could come my way of consequence. I'm not saying I agree with him or anything. I'm just saying I think that's what he means. I don't think he's like unaware of the word entitlement, but I just think that's what he means by it. I don't know. Could be wrong. I don't know.
Entitlement means you expect something. Or, yeah, you expect to receive something. What does he expect to receive? If anything, it's Doechii in this instance that is being entitled and, I don't know, expects people to cater to her every whim, which they are supposed to do their job, like I said. And then saying this streamer, but not, it's doing this tiptoeing thing. And then DJ Head says, gonna come back to this later. And then YesJulz, another tweet that she put out was, Kai and Speed are cool, positive guys. So I get the hype there. They're cool, positive guys. Are you at all familiar with how Speed blew up? Positive is not the definition of it, which just goes to show, stay in your lane. Like, Speed got banned from Twitch for one of the craziest jokes that had everybody like looking around the room like, yo, did you?
Yeah, that was some wild shit, bro. That Ash Cash shit was crazy. If you don't know, just look it up, bro.
Did you really just drop that joke? It was with Ash Cash. I'm not gonna play that clip.
Yeah,
for you guys.
yeah.
So she's a fool here, and Speed was a teenager while this happened, like 16, 17. He says, but these losers who sit on a computer trashing women and people they have never even had a conversation with, how are they gonna have a conversation with this person? Like, you think like, yo, Doechii, like let's dap it up and talk about this. What? Having an audience of hundreds of thousands of people tune in to watch it live, we have lost the plot. Please touch grass. You will never change what people are interested in. Like, get the hell out of here with that. And I will give some respect to Aiden Ross too, because he doubles down on this whole situation. And in this clip, he says what he has to say.
It's not race, it's not gender, guys. I come at everybody. I don't care what gender or race you are. If you're disrespectful to a 9-to-5 hardworking person, it pisses me off. It's a pet peeve. You're a multi-millionaire getting mad and raging and yelling at 9-to-5 workers. It's bullshit. It's wrong. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna call it out for what it is. Have patience. You're blessed to be making millions of dollars doing something you love in this world. So why do you can't have a little bit of patience or calm? Pop a fucking Xanny if you need to. No, I'm drugs. But for real, like, fuck.
See, if he said that off rip, I had no problems. Like, shit. But he didn't say that off rip. So that's the problem, that, it's the lost in translation thing. And again, he shouldn't be held to such a high standard. We should just see him as an entertainer and not an entity and something that provides constructive hip-hop discourse. But since people like Complex want to put him on top 10 streamer hip-hop lists, now he's getting more, he's getting more attention in a way that doesn't really suit him. That's all I'm saying.
So all these people want to make it about
But
race.
I agree with
it's
him.
just horrible. Stop doing this bullshit. This is the problem with the internet. It's like, it just makes it really, really fucked. It makes it really, really fucked. It really does. It's just like, that's just how it is. So, I don't know how Doechii is as a human being. I don't know, and I don't really, care. I'm sure she doesn't care how I am as a human being. She probably wants to kill me. I don't give a fuck. Whatever she wants to do. She probably wants to smack me. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm gonna double down and just repeatedly, again, I'm not folding.
It's a weird thing to say.
Trash. It was whack.
So respect to Aiden Ross for doubling down on his opinion and clarifying. This clarification is very, very important, because now these people that are coming at him, hopefully you get the context and maybe you address the situation. Because how about you address none of them? And this is where people get frustrated, because when DaBaby was acting like this, you guys remember when DaBaby was acting like this to the flight attendant and he was talking about her hair and like, yo, how are you going to come on this private jet with your hair like that? Everybody had an opinion on it, because DaBaby was kicked out of the industry at that point. I think damn near. So they all had an opinion on it.
I never heard about the situation or seen it.
But when Doechii does this, none of them have anything to say. They just jumped past it. And this fuels the frustration that people have towards y'all, more institutional industry people, because you're not addressing that, but you're jumping out to defend Doechii. So it's just like this.
That's interesting. Again, I've seen so many people come at Doechii for the umbrella ship, but I don't think they're huge hip hop entities like the traditional media. I don't know. So I understand where he's coming from in that regard.
Feedback loop where people are like, yo, we can't even give an opinion about this lady without being attacked by all of these other people. And then when she does something that's worth remarking on. Now, I'm not saying it's worth attacking her or worth diminishing any accomplishment that she has. What she did at the Met Gala was worth remarking on. and they didn't remark on it. That leads people to believe, okay, what the hell is going on here? Is this like some secret club that we're not a part of and you guys are not allowed to talk about her? Or you guys get a lot of benefits from only speaking positively of her and defending her and looking past anything else that may warrant some criticism? Because that's what we're looking at it like. And then Punch comes out to levy some threats, I will say that, say that for the third time. He says, these internet guys are really going far. It's a difference between entertainment and being disrespectful. I understand it's certain people's brands to say the things they say, but it's going to go somewhere else. Eventually, everyone will see each other. No threats. Let's just keep it cool and respectful. This is, yeah, eventually it'll go. And this is the thing. Punch, you didn't address it. Doechii addressed her situation with the Met Gala, and it was snarky. And
yeah, like I said, she did not respond to it well. That was bad. That was really bad. But also, why is it that when Punch makes a tweet, you don't take it extremely literal? But when the guy that used the word entitled wrong, you took it super literal and says, or yeah, you blatantly say he doesn't know what the word entitled means. I feel like there's a bit of a double-edged sword of bias coming from this video a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Doechii addressed her situation with the Met Gala, and it was snarky. And it was like maybe the quirky girls, they like it, but people didn't really appreciate her response to it either. But here he's going and threatening Aiden Ross. And was she not being disrespectful to those people? That's what some people interpreted it as. You didn't have anything to say there. So you threaten this guy Aiden Ross, and it just makes you guys look.
But do you expect a label owner to go against their artists like publicly like that? I personally don't expect it. I don't expect it. If I want someone to talk about it, I want it to be like the big media platforms talk about why she did that. I don't expect Punch to do it. Same way if Smiley one day fucking slapped Chinese food out of somebody's fucking hand that was serving him the food at that little Canadian spot. I don't expect Drake to just talk about it like openly. I don't know. That might be a bad example, but that's just coming from the top of my head.
Worse. And academics responded to this. And to be fair, right? Like, academics has a gear to grind with TDE. He's doesn't really like Kendrick Lamar. I don't think he hates Kendrick Lamar, but TDE clearly, I will say this, TDE hates academics at this point in time. Maybe they have like some sort of diplomatic relationship for business reasons, of course, but they hate him. So I understand why he's probably like not too big of a fan of them. But he gives his own take on this situation and why there's a lot of frustration towards Doechii. I'm gonna play you guys that clip.
When you see a newer artist seemingly getting every accolade, every award, being pushed, and you can't even identify her fan base, right? The thing about most artists, you could be like, oh, that's the Cardi Hive, that's the Barty fans, that's the Nikki Barbs, that's the OVO stands or whatever, you know, no disrespect to them. But you could see it with Doechii. People feel like it's the industry saying, if you're a good person, and I think this is why people are so opposed to her. Not everybody, because she does have a wave. So many people feel like they have to speak out against her, right? Because me, at this point, I'm like, if she's not my cup of tea, I just won't say nothing. Like, I don't feel she's that offensive, right? But some people feel like they got to speak out about her because they feel the industry is constantly throwing her in our face.
Literally what I just said. I feel like there's been a super attempt at overcorrection by kind of throwing such a huge mass of hate to overcompensate for the feeling of industry built artificial love. And this, excuse me, and if that's the conversation that we're having, I can respect that. Excuse me. Cause I can see why her come up looks suspicious, looks fishy. I agree that it could look a certain way. I definitely can understand why, but you know, I feel like that's two different conversations than what's going on with the whole Aiden versus her thing.
She's on the cover of this. She's on this. She's on this. She's on that. She's on this. She's on that. She's on this. She's on that. And it's one of those things where they're like, yo, people are very smart. They're very perceptive. They're like, I know how hot you got to be to get these looks. And they're like, why do y'all all keep telling us this girl is hot without us telling you she is? And that's where a lot of people are coming for.
And this is facts. This
That's
really
real.
encapsulates why the majority of hip hop has a frustration with her. And I said in the previous video, which you guys have to watch this in the comments, is where my theory is that this is the initial hate campaign, I believe, was manufactured to get two opposite sides, because you build a fan base stronger when there's a hate base they can fight against. But Academics goes on to say how he first ever heard of Doechii, and this is where
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can.
this one killed me. This one had me dying, because then it made me think, okay, this is one of the first industry artists in hip hop we've seen in a long time then.
And I probably should have used my man's name, but I'm going to use my man's name. My man over at Spotify, Carl Cherry. I heard about Doechii for the first time ever in life by Carl Cherry. That's a problem. If I'm a guy who...
That's hilarious. I'm telling you, DJ Academics is an entertainer, bro. He is funny. He doesn't know a lot of shit about like the ins behind the scenes of music when it comes to like how labels like do certain shit and things like that. But when it comes to like the art and the culture of it, you know, I don't really look to him for that part. I look to him, you know, just to be entertained. Cause the little shit he does just makes me fucking laugh. Just a funny like expressor. This nigga said that's a problem.
by Carl Cherry. That's a problem.
Look at the way he said. Look at the way he said it, bro.
I heard about Doechii for the first time ever in life by Carl Cherry. That's a problem. If I'm a guy who I'm around many different people, and the first person in life to tell me about Doechii is a guy who runs Rap Caviar. Now, again, I'm not saying he's not looking into a different side of hip hop and he saw her organically grow. What I'm saying is that for the people that's like me and others, we're like, Doy what? Who what? That's a messaging problem, okay? And by the way, you get like, I'm always a little bit weary. If I hear about an artist from the label before the fans, I usually do think industry plan. I hear about it from a DSP or someone who works at a DSP rather than the fans, I usually do think industry plan.
Now this even got my head spinning. What? The first time you heard about it is from Carl Cherry? And the reason for that is, number one, Carl Cherry runs Rap Caviar, the biggest hip-hop plot.
That nigga is, that's Ty Dolla $ign. I don't look like no fucking nigga named Carl Cherry. That nigga look like Ty Dolla $ign, bro. Even his neck look like it says dollar.
Platform, the biggest hip hop playlist on Spotify, like potentially in the world, if you're not counting like maybe.
Oh, that. Oh, I'm retarded. That really was Ty Dolla $ign. This is okay.
Chinese streaming platforms, and you're hearing about it from her. And some people will say, well, Academics is always so late to artists. No. He may be late in talking about them because it's not his incentive to talk about underground artists. He's giving them free promotion at that point. When an artist gets lit enough, he will cover them and he will talk about them. That's his job. But for instance, Ken Carson, people were spamming Academics about Ken Carson when he had that album cover of him laying on the floor, and like the not laying on the floor, laying on that grass lawn.
Yeah,
you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know. I think it was face down that he was laying on that, and people were like, "Yo, Ken Carson," and he's like, "Dude, what the hell is a Ken Carson?" And then maybe a year later, he gets mentioned again, and then he's like, "Yo, who's like, what the hell is a Ken Carson again?" And then he was getting told about Destroy Lonely. So he frequently hears about these artists. Maybe he just doesn't tune into them until he hears about them multiple times. And that's like a lot of us. Like, for instance, someone tells you about an artist or you hear about them once and you're like, okay, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Yo, I'm missing out on something. Let me check this out. That's what happened with Doechii, but it was as if you saw her on TV and all these not album covers and the Grammys, and you're like, wait, what the hell? Where I missed out on the part where people were supposed to tell me about her, or maybe like small blogs, or maybe a TikToker here and there, or maybe a reply to a comment. And you know, any comment related to hip hop, people are like, yo, underrated artist, like you got to check out Doechii. And that is the big problem. But I don't think this is going to change. I don't think Aiden Ross was right in like going at, but this is the thing too. Aiden Ross thinks he's kicking it with his homies. He doesn't think he's on live to millions of people talking to the hip hop.
So now we're saying what he thinks. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is an interesting way of talking about the situation.
Audience when he's saying what he's saying, and it makes its way there. So while I do disagree with what he said, like he didn't have to go at her that viciously, I am more not frustrated is the word, but I find it more disrespectful that many of the people are fervently attacking Aiden Ross for his statements and defending Doechii, but didn't find the care in their heart to potentially defend the people working for Doechii and her attacking people and giving their opinion on that, even if it was.
You should have redid that last part, nigga. I don't know what you was talking about at the end.
To defend her. Like, if they gave some, like I said, I'm a guy that defended her. People in my comment sections were lighting me up like, yo, come on, you can't co-sign that. You can't let that fly. That's rude. But I'm just being fair in the situation. Like, I understand how it gets. Or, like, I've never personally done that. But high pressure situations, like, people crack. Not everyone's ready to handle that, especially knowing that she gets so much criticism. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go to HelloYassine.com. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, fuck with yes. Hello Yassine. He's got a lot of insight. The worst part is that he's entitled to his opinion, but he's literally been robbed by 21 Savage and Playboy Cardi and wouldn't dare say something like this about them. Facts. Call it bias. I call it being a punk. Alright. This is the best counterpoint I've heard all day. That's the first thing I opened my video with. Damn, you should fucking follow me. It's a good comment. I feel like you've been trying to... Like, did he even talk about the fucking little TJ thing with Max? That was extremely disrespectful. And yeah, there weren't 9 to 5 workers involved, but shit, that was disrespectful as hell. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know. Please let me know what y'all think about the situation in the comments. I feel like this is just gonna add to the discourse that black women are the most unprotected people in the world. You know, that's like a huge thing that people talk about, and I definitely understand and agree with it. I also think that Aiden did have a point in feeling like she has, you know, an organic rise, or feeling like she's not the nicest towards people she should be more patient with. But I don't think he expressed that in an eloquent way, like he was supposed to, just like that tweet said. And yeah, I feel like this shouldn't be that big of a thing. I feel like we gotta let shit like this just die, and we gotta let people that aren't real hip hop like enthusiasts, aren't real like even just cognitive of how they express certain ideas, like people that aren't attempting to make an effort in how to express a certain opinion on the situation, we can't keep giving them so much power. You know, just take them as what they are, entertainers. I don't hold no streamer, no YouTuber to a high enough regard to where I think everything that they say and do is law, and that I should take it into my soul every single time. And I feel like that's what a lot of this is. It's like, oh, we should either come at him super aggressively, or we should defend him with our entire life. I don't think that's the case with streamers, and I don't think that's the case with rappers either. We shouldn't be fighting tooth and nail to defend somebody's name for no reason. Now, if there's bigger things at play that you want to talk about, like you want to talk about how weird it is that he's doing this to a black woman artist, and has never did this to Kanye, who was speaking anti-Semitic rhetoric, to Cardi, who robbed him, to 21, who robbed him. People that basically just play in his face and act like they cool with him and take advantage of him. If you want to do a bigger conversation about that, I feel like that's way more interesting than this anecdotal, unproductive discourse. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is just sad to see, because I enjoy both parties to some regard. I've heard Doechii's features. I fucked with them. And I fucked with Aiden's older streams and what he's done for, you know, WL streaming community. But this has just been such a clusterfuck of recent years when it comes to hip hop discourse in him, and I just feel like it's unnecessary, man. Let him be a streamer, and let him keep giving these opportunities. And I really respect and applaud that, 'cause I have seen him give mad money to mad people. I have seen it. I know I made that joke when I paused it saying that he was dick riding, but I've seen shit like that. Let's focus more on the positive stuff. Let's do more of that. Let's stay away from this negative talking shit, bro, because it's not good for nobody. So yeah, that's how I feel on it. FD Signifier, please make a video, because I know you're gonna break it down in a way better way about how the media is when it comes to black women, and how the history of of you know, hip hop has always been this da 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 da. Like FD Signifier, bro, I just can't give him enough credit. Shout out to him, bro. But yeah, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. I got so much to react to. There's so much going on in the music industry, and I'm trying to get it all out. So if you liked, if you like the video, liked it, drop a like. Let me know what you think, comment, and please subscribe. My name is Airwave Knee. Subscribe to my YouTube, and then follow my TikTok Airwave Knee, please. Y'all have a blessed one. Peace.